Hey everyone, John here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a long trade here on the bonds. Looking at a long trade here at 150.05, back up to the range highs. Now the range highs are at 150.19. We don't want to go right on 19, so we're going to go to 18 instead. We're going to take everything off there. So we've got two contracts coming off at 150.18. You could be a little more conservative and maybe take one a little sooner here at, something like 16. That would definitely be an option as well. And actually, that doesn't sound too bad. So we're going to take one contract off at 16 and then one farther up at 18, just to kind of split this up in case we get a double top at 18. Don't get filled. We really don't want to deal with any of that. So overall, we've really been kind of range bound all morning. If we zoom out, we can see really haven't gone anywhere, right? We do have this range. The range did kind of widen out a little bit. Initially, it was a little bit tighter here, kind of pushed outside of that and formed what we are in now, which is just this wider range type of setup. Now, with these ranges, it's always anticipated that really you're not going to break outside of them. And even if they do break out, you're going to get something like this where they widen out and then all of a sudden now you're working with an even wider range. So it's really not anticipated to see this market go anywhere in particular. So we're kind of focusing our efforts on buying low, selling high. We've always been told that's the way to go, right? So in terms of the markets right now, we're looking at our entry here at 150.05, and the primary reason for the entry is we're just coming off of range lows, right? We tested 150.03. They held it very, very well. They tried to get lower, right? They tried to get lower. They pushed one tick outside of it, immediately rejected back up again. So we're seeing those buyers really step up their game here at the range lows, which is exactly where you anticipate them coming in, which is exactly why we're jumping in. So we're looking for long movement here, 150.05, looking for our first target at 150.16, then the next one at 18. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the bonds, they are a little bit of a heavier market. They trade at higher cost per tick. It's $31.25 a tick. So all of these ticks that you see here, this first target at 11 ticks, well, that's 11 at 31.25, right? So that's $343 just for one contract. So you got to be careful on your trading size when you're trading the bonds because it does add up really, really quickly. You can see we're only one tick, and because of two contracts, we're at 62.50. So you can get a really, really big chunk of money with not a whole lot of movement, which is kind of why I'm a big fan of this market. So overall, looking at 11 ticks and 13 ticks, it gives us 24 total. Now again, 31.25 a tick means that trade will be $750 if we can get them all filled. So you don't need a whole lot of movement to get a whole lot of money out of the bonds, that's for sure. So we're sitting good. We are a little bit early though. We're not even at 9 o'clock yet. So this may take a little bit of time for this trade to kind of come to fruition, if you will, but looking for the overall objective right back up to the range highs at 150.19. So give this a little bit of time and we'll see if we can get those targets filled. All right, we're back up to our target. We're testing it again, 150.16 there. We finally got it filled. They tested it earlier here at 9:10 and 9:15, and it just would not fill it. Pulled all the way back down to break even and then pushed up, and now we finally got our target filled at 150.16. So now that we've got that taken care of, we'll drop our stop down to one tick. Stop will go to break even. We're going to go to break even +1 just because of the fluctuation that we're seeing. You can see right here, there is a possibility that we may end up just getting stuck in a smaller little range right here. That is definitely a possibility. So because of that, we got to play it a little bit safer, but we got that first target filled. That's what we were looking for. That's a big chunk of change in our pocket already. Just looking for that final push higher here to see if we can get up to that 150.19 and possibly even break it, right? There is a good chance that, especially with this failure down here, the buyers are going to want to try to take it over and ride this thing higher, and there's a chance that we may even cycle all the way through those highs, which would be kind of welcome in this case. It might actually get this market moving somewhere. So we got our target filled. Definitely took a little bit of time here. That's the bonds for you, a little bit early. We got in the trade just before 8:50, and we're hitting our target now at 9:45. So we've been sitting in this an hour just to get 11 ticks. It kind of goes to show you how big, or kind of the way that this market sort of ticks, if you will. But looking for the next target up at 150.18. Splitting the target up a little bit gave us our early fill here at 11. Looking for 13 next. 13 ticks at 18. So we'll give it a little bit more time. We can tell that this one might take a little while based on the fact that it took an hour to go 11 ticks, and we'll see if we get that target at 18. All right, no sooner do we pause it than we're already starting to see some buying pressure coming in. We got our target filled at 18. Very, very nice. So again, the overall objective is still to push in 19, maybe even 20, 21 to go through that high. But we got our target filled, and that's the only part we care about. So we got our target at 11, and then our follow-up target at 13. That gives us $750 on the trade. Beautiful movement. Again, that's the type of movement that's possible, or at least the profitability that's possible with only 2 contracts on a market like the bonds. It pays very, very well per tick, and you can use that to your advantage. Now remember, it's a double-edged sword. So if you're taking really bad trades or iffy trades, the stops are larger as well. So you got to be careful in that sense. But when you hit those winners, man, they really pay well. And this is a good example of it. $750 taking out 11 ticks and 13 ticks. Can't argue with that. And there we get our test of 150.19. So we'll see if they break through it, see if the buyers want to take over. We're at channel highs right now, so we'll kind of keep an eye on it. But that's going to be the trade. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.